Hi, Linda Berger here, Coach Linda Berger, business strategist and Akashic record teacher and consultant that has been doing this for over 25 years. And I am so excited to start doing these Zoom business calls for the soul of the business. Today's our first one, and I'm super excited about my guest. Her name is Jen Mitchell, and she's a family law attorney, mediator, life coach, and the creator of Solace Divorce Mediation, which is not only a company, but a process that she uses to help focus her practice on changing the way that people view and experience divorce, from one that's destructive to one that is empowering the individuals and the family, and to bring self-enlightenment. And Solace views divorce in a very unique way as an opportunity to learn as much as you possibly can about yourself and to heal from all your past traumas and your experiences that have led you to the point of where you are in your life right now, getting a divorce, and to grow into the person you were meant to be, healed and loving, and out there living a fulfilled life. So I want to welcome Jen Mitchell. Jen, thank you so much for being here. You know how much I love you and I support your work in the world.
And I feel the same.
So just tell us, take a couple minutes and tell us in your own words, your passion about what you do and why you think you've been called to do it.
I started off as a family law litigation attorney, and I was trained by a law firm that I worked at to be a zealous advocate for my clients, and everything was fine. I was in the courtroom, and then I had 3 children of my own, and I had them very quickly. I had 3 in 39 months, and when the 3rd one was born, I really had this awakening where I realized that I was destroying other people's children in the courtroom setting. By playing the role that I was trained to play, I was destroying children, I was destroying people, I was destroying families, and really how impactful that litigation experience is, and how it transcends into every interaction that we're having with people throughout our entire divorce journey. And so at that point, I had to refer all of my litigation cases out and really center myself. And through the help of working with you, Linda, as my coach, and just through learning about a different way to approach business and a different way to approach my life, I really honed in on what was important to me. And what's important to me is spreading as much love and light as I can into this world, and helping people go through what is a really difficult emotional process. Divorce is a very difficult thing to go through emotionally, and help them by giving them tools and resources that they can use and apply to help them get through the divorce in as powerful a fashion as they can, and to really change the way we're looking at it. Instead of looking at divorce as an opportunity to destroy your spouse that maybe you're angry with, right? You're destroying yourself too. And so really stepping back and looking at it as, if this is happening anyway, embracing the power of choice that we all have in every aspect of our life, and in divorce especially. You have a choice. You can absolutely destroy yourself and destroy your spouse and negatively affect your kids, or if it's happening anyway, let's take a mindful approach and a loving approach and use it to serve as a catalyst to change your whole life, and really use it as one of the biggest opportunities that we are gifted in our life to change our life for the better, to live more in alignment with ourselves, with our life purpose, and really live a very fulfilled life. So that is what Solace Divorce is I figured out a way to get a divorce that can help couples do that, and really just change all of it, change the way society views divorce. It is not a failure. There are no failed marriages. There is a reason that you were together. You learn from your marriage, you grow from your marriage. If you have kids, then you have these beautiful gifts of your marriage that would never be those exact people had you not been married. And so just really using it as an opportunity to change the way people see it and our society sees divorce.
So Jen, how would people be able to get a hold of you? Do you do consultations, or where they can kind of run some ideas past you, or some thoughts that they might have? Are you a resource for them, or how would they find you?
Absolutely. So we have our website, www.solacedivorce.com. I have a blog, The Divorce Guru, a podcast that's called The Divorce Guru. We have our Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter. We have many different social media ways for people to reach out, and we absolutely offer free divorce consultations and even parentage. So if you're not married and you have children together and you need to figure out a parenting plan, we offer free consultations. And it's really the purpose of the consult is to share all of this information with people that they have a choice. And then the second purpose is to really help educate them on what the process is, what they need to do, because I feel like so many people are very fearful when it comes to divorce. They're overwhelmed, and it's really not that complicated of a legal process to go through. So we are more than happy to connect with anyone and help share this message and calm them, kind of ease the stress and overwhelm and anxiety that they may be feeling during an already very difficult time.
Great. Well, Jen, again, I love what you do. You know that, and I support you like a gazillion %.
I love you.
And I am so excited for to be able to start sharing what I do in the Akashic Records for businesses, and to be able to share this openly and in the public, instead of me just doing a one-on-one, but to actually be able to have people on our calls and to ask some questions about if they're in alignment with the soul of their business, or what the heck is the soul of their business, and even what is a soul. Right. So having been for myself a business strategist since '07, a business coach, productivity coach, have been doing all of that since 2007, and then doing the Akashic Records and working as a teacher, an international teacher and consultant, helping thousands of people really access the information of their soul. It never really dawned on me to put the two together. And although that's what I've been doing, I've been consulting the records for businesses and not even realizing I was doing it together. So now I am, I guess you could say, out of the closet.
Yes, I'm so excited
my Akashic record work and my business coaching, even though they seem that one would be too woo-woo and the other is very strategic. No, they absolutely work together, and it doesn't need to be woo-woo. It could always be very practical. Yes. As a matter of fact, when I first learned, my nose is itching. I'm sorry. It must be, my masters must be telling me look under your nose. There's something right in front of you. I remember telling my teacher when I first learned how to do this work in the late 90s, how to open the records, that this is not spiritual. This is so practical. You could just do anything with it. And she mentioned then, oh no, this is very spiritual. And I agree, it is. And the love and the changes in my life and in my businesses have been incredible. So let's get started. So what I did already, Jen, is with your permission, I opened the records of Solace Divorce Mediation, which is the legal name of your business, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so your records, the records of your business are now open. So the soul information from the process that I use is a sacred prayer process that's used from Akashic Knowing School of Wisdom. My dear friend, Lisa Barnett, is the owner of the school, and she and I work very closely. And in her business and in writing her books. And so I use her prayer process to open the records of the business. And what we do in this process is Jen will have to ask me questions. And from those questions, the information will come forward. And to do a deeper dive into those questions, what we do is we kind of work with the questions to go deeper into the information. So Jen, how about asking your first question?
Oh, I'm so excited about this. Okay. So my first question is, what is the sole purpose of Solace Divorce Mediation?
The sole purpose of one of it has a few. it's funny, it's kind of looks like the tree behind you in a way, not quite as curly in that, but the root of it, the base, what was in the roots in the ground when a tree starts to grow, we can look at it from that perspective. What they're showing me is that these roots are going out to touch the contracts that this business has with people that their hearts are hurting, and that they need to be in alignment with their soul to ease that pain. So what you've created is your soul, you yourself, soul feels that pain that is from a marriage situation. And so you have this contract with this business as a tool to help those souls heal. Because you can't just do it by yourself. You have to have a place for them to go. So you look at the trunk of the tree as being solace, being the mediation business, being actually the lawyer that you are, the family law. That is the roots of and that is the trunk of your tree. And the growth in the trunk of the tree is you know how a tree starts and it's just very thin, and then as it matures, it gets older. Well, if you look at your family law business, since you've been in your own business, it's grown. So the trunk of the tree has grown. And in doing that, it allows you to serve more and more people because you are very aligned with healing the souls, healing the hearts, the broken hearts of these families, whether it's the children, whether it's the mother, the father, or just husband, wife. So what happens is you've created a tool, which is divorce mediation is only one of the tools of your office, your attorney's office. And you now are expanding that into the world in books, in training mediators, creating franchises so that other people can take this healing process. It's like this process that you've created is in a package, it's in a box, and you're handing it off to someone so that they can fulfill their need to heal others. But your business and you together have a contract to help others and make it easier.
Yes.
Okay. So it's as though there's a muddy pool, a muddy swamp, and there's nobody has stepped into that. You have put the footstep in there so that the person behind you, the people you help, or the attorneys, or the other mediators, or if they're therapists that want to become mediators, that they actually step into your footprint so that it's easier for them, so they don't have to recreate the wheel. So Solace is divorce mediation's bigger picture at this point is to be a stopping ground, a place for souls to come, to heal, to find a different way, to cry, to console, to find solace.
Yes.
In and to find a direction, and to have a place to ache, have a place to cry, have a place to feel safe. So that's what solace is. So anything that you can do that would bring people to feel that, if you intuitively get hits, I know you know how to open the Akashic records, being one of my students. You can go in your own records to find out how do you what else are things that you haven't even thought of that would service those souls.
Right.
So look at it as you light up. It's lighting up contracts that the business has with all these other individuals.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost as you create a new product, it lights up. It lights
Yes.
up souls.
Oh, I
It's an
love that.
igniter. Each product you have is like an igniter.
Mm-hmm. I love that. How, so seeing it that way, right? Like seeing that I'm helping these souls with their journey, and they are wanting me and wanting Solace to help them do this. Um,
Wait one second. When you say wanting me and wanting solace, it's not necessarily you and solace. It's that you have the answers. Okay.
mm-hmm,
You have to, when you're aligned in the soul, you have to be really careful of the ego stepping in, because
mm-hmm,
if you have triggers in any way of value or worth,
mm-hmm,
say you right now, I know you do very well in your business, but let's say you're making $1 million a month, just for example.
mm-hmm.
If you have some trigger inside of you that's like, oh my God, where even if you just take that breath, like what happens is it blocks the energy for the souls, because
Mm-hmm.
now it's about you and not about the work.
Right. And
You
I think
got
that's
that?
why I tripped up when I said me, and then I was like, Solace, like it's not me. I'm at the point I want to give this to the world, and it yeah.
Right. And so you have to look at it this way. Okay. Look at it from a soul's perspective.
Okay.
Okay. The soul needs a vessel, a human vessel, us.
Yes.
Okay. We're alive.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's not it. So it needs this vessel. So you are the walking vessel
Mm-hmm.
that other people can see, touch, hear.
Right.
That is the vessel with which it comes from, and an extension of that vessel is to be able to create this solace divorce mediation. So
Mm-hmm.
solace divorce mediation cannot walk around by itself and say, hey, I'm in business over
Right.
here.
Right.
You know, it's not a person, it's an entity, as I call an entity, not meaning like it's some scary entity. It's a
Right.
it's a ball of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But it needs your body, your mind, your legs, your emotions, your sense, your heart to
Mm-hmm.
magnify its mission. Okay.
Okay. So in attracting these what is Solace, the soul of Solace, saying I should be saying to people, right? Or what kind of messaging should I be putting out, or how should I be describing it to attract these souls to Solace?
Remember what your mission was, what the mission is. And we talked about this a few minutes ago, that
Mm-hmm.
it is there to heal. It is there to console. It is there to give options. It is
Mm-hmm.
there to, it's not necessarily a protection. It's like a stopping ground. It's a
Mm-hmm.
place to stop, rethink, reestablish. So think about how you can empower people to become aware of the pain that they have, that they're carrying within them.
Mm-hmm.
And there were few, you asked like 10 questions in that
Sorry.
one. So can you kind of go back a little? Cause I have to go back.
Yeah.
So go
So,
ask that question, but try to ask 1 versus 10 at one time.
okay. So how can I best reach out to let people know that have a contract of their soul that Solace is available to them?
You want to do it through stories, most especially. Okay. And there's a difference between when you're on the path and when you're starting on the path. Think
Mm-hmm.
of your funnel. Remember how I've taught you about building your funnel in your business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Look at the soul as having the same thing. Okay. Your
Okay.
business. So you have souls that are coming there, that they're just kind of bumping up against. They're checking you out. They're checking your website. They've heard you say something in social media. So they're just kind of like, just barely, and then they start to, connect with you. They send you an email or I need a consultation, or whatever your first step is. So now they're coming into this funnel, this process. Okay. Funnel seems so business-like. So they're coming into this process. And so what happens is you're helping them through the stories hear what they're saying to themselves. Okay. Like, wow, that sounds like me. I'm curious to know more. I'm curious to find out if this is something that is a path I need to go on. Whenever somebody starts any type of a soul journey or something that means a lot to them, like some type of transformation versus staying where they're at, unhappy, unfulfilled, that's the easy way in a lot of ways to stay. But because you're experimenting with possibly leaving the marriage doesn't mean you're going to leave the marriage, but you're going to learn about yourself on the path to finding out if this is right for you. Okay, versus just staying in the place and not doing anything. So through your stories, through the other end of the pipeline, like I said, where you come in, you don't know, you can't visualize, you can't experience the other end of it yet because you're not there yet. You're just starting to go into it. And then when you get in the middle of it, when, people start going through your mediation process and they start facing all their problems,
yes,
then they're in the muck of it. But where you are is you're at the end, you're outside of it. So you want to remind them that this is part of the process. It doesn't feel good. It's not, but remind them that there's the other end of the process with stories of people from the other side.
That's what I was just going to ask. Is it stories, me sharing my own story, or is it bringing in past clients that have gone through the journey and they can share their stories too?
You can do that. What you want is the segments of the stories, okay? Because you've got people that are not sure. Okay. Is divorce even really right for me? I'm feeling this. I don't want to just stay and be miserable, but I don't know where to go. And maybe therapy isn't what they want, or maybe they're going through therapy, or maybe that's something that you suggest to them, but you don't know. You're a resource.
Okay.
So by having people know what's in what as I call in business, the pipeline of that there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, and then there's after.
And then there's after. Exactly. Yes.
So what you want to work on, Jen, for the business is to start getting more stories of, and it doesn't have to be a long story. It can even be testimonials in a testimonial way. Obviously get the approval of that person. Maybe they don't want people to know, or maybe they do, or maybe they have a before and after picture, things like that. Share the experience, because going through a divorce is very scary.
Yes.
But the hardest part is starting. So you don't want your business, Solace, does not want you to feel that just because people come to you, they always end in divorce. That's not what Solace mediation is about. Okay. It's about finding what works for the parties involved.
Okay.
Finding solace, whether you stay in the marriage or you leave the marriage. It's about solace either way.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so helpful.
So when you are doing your social media and your blogs and things like that, take little snippets of brilliance, like little quotes that maybe, your clients have said, and they don't even realize that they've said it, that, wow, that's really a heart moment. Because when someone is speaking, they may be talking, and you'll get a little blurb, so subtle, but it's a heart moment. And the words that people say that you write in your posts have a vibration to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that vibration, when someone reads it, it touches them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I know in like advertising and things like that, they talk about being, having the emotional words in that. But when you actually have a word coming from someone that has walked the walk and is
Right.
now talking the walk,
Mm-hmm.
the words have different vibrational hooks to them.
Okay.
And when I say hooks, it's not negative. It's
Mm-hmm.
that the business, it's igniting. That's what it is. So
Mm-hmm.
the hooks are really igniters.
Okay. Are there any words that Solace's soul is saying I can use to help with that ignition in people?
Remember that it's even in the title of your business is Solace.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So be sure to use words that are not, that it's about solace. Even look in the thesaurus and see what solace means. See how
Mm-hmm.
other people, when you hear other people talking, to yourself, wow, they found solace in that experience.
So focus, because that's solace just means comfort or conciliation in a time of need or distress.
Yes.
So focusing
exactly.
on that, focusing on the healing part of it.
Right. And you could even write a blog about what solace means and then how that plays out in your consultation or a mediation process or an actual divorce. So you have 3 different blogs there.
Mm-hmm.
The whole idea is solace is a stopping place, a place to heal, a place to start the healing, a place to heal. Either people will come to solace at different levels. Some will start the healing process. Some may start it and get very frightened of it and pull away from it. Some will get right into it and can't wait to get to the end of it. Some will just go through it and not change at all and still go back to their old patterns and probably remarry that same type of situation.
Right.
They're really not marrying the person necessarily when they need to grow from a situation. They're marrying the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
So in getting this message out, because I want this, I want this to be available to everyone, everywhere going through a divorce. Are there any influencers that can help me to do this? Are there?
There are, but you are about 6 months away from it.
Okay.
The reason being is you have to get your ducks in a row.
I
okay.
do.
And not that you're not doing it. It's just that it needs to be so clear and concise of what you do, how you do it, and the impact it creates for people to understand how to use their influence to help the business. Okay.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm working on right now. That makes total sense.
So like I said, look at the business as this entity, and this entity needs people in order for it to do its job. Okay.
Right.
And as big as your ideas are and your dreams are for it, that's just a smidgen of what it's capable of. The most important thing that we all should know about our businesses is if there's a limitation, it's not on the business, it's on the vessel.
And yes, that's what I wanted to ask next. Is there anything that I am doing that is blocking the energy of this business to fulfill its sole purpose?
Well, I'm hearing yes and no. So I'm going to ask the yes first part.
Okay.
So what is the yes part? So the yes part is that you have the enthusiasm, you have the energy
Mm-hmm.
to fulfill. You have the desire to fulfill. The no part, there's a couple things. One is the organization and the focus, which is you
Mm-hmm.
haven't quite gotten your footing right to where
Mm-hmm.
you can grow exponentially based on how you're doing it now. Now you're running as fast, you're on a treadmill that's going as fast as it can and you're keeping up, but there's not another speed you can go higher without falling off of it.
Right.
So the other thing, you personally, as the owner, as the vessel of this business, there are still some limiting beliefs that you have that
Mm-hmm.
you want to work on that affect your business directly. And one of them is you want people to move faster than they're moving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is an expectation that you have for life in general, but for the people that come to you, because you're so excited about the end result because you've seen how beautiful
Right.
it can be.
Yes.
And you see how miserable they are in many times when when they're in the muck of it,
Yes.
that you become impatient with them and your expectations, you get frustrated that your expectations aren't met. So
Yes.
you need to pull you out of that
Mm-hmm.
and understand that the process takes as long as the process takes.
Right. And it's their journey.
It's their journey. And what you're doing as the owner of this entity is holding the space for them to get the
Mm-hmm.
healing that they need and to be serviced by the entity, meaning get the healing, get whatever it is that you have created for this
Mm-hmm.
entity to use to help people. So
Right.
whatever it is, your blog, your books, your podcast, these are
Mm-hmm.
all different modalities of healing.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will really follow your podcast. Other people don't want anything to do with listening to a podcast. They'd rather read a blog, on
Mm-hmm.
the train or when, before they go to bed at night or whatever it happens to be. Where some people are just book people and
Mm-hmm.
some people just need to get on the phone and talk to you.
Right.
So
Okay.
so as the vessel, your job is to create many different ways for people to find it. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
So you personally need to work on your expectations of others.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a reflection of your expectation on yourself, that
Right.
things that you're not moving fast enough. Like you wish
Right.
this treadmill could go one more speed faster.
Right. I am very much like that. I mean, that completely resonates because that's how I live my life is like, if it's not working, let's try something else. Let's move forward. Let's not stay stuck. So that totally.
There's always an incubation process. Think about your own journey, how long it took you to make certain decisions, to do certain
Right.
things. How long did it take you to leave the legal system, the family law system, the way that it was to make it into this better? How long
Mm-hmm.
did it take you to get Solace divorced to where you have it now?
Right.
Every
Right.
time, and you're evolving. And so
Mm-hmm.
as you evolve, it tweaks a little bit this way, it moves a little bit that way, it shaves a little bit off here. So it's not that you throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you realize it's a process, and so is divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Absolutely.
divorce mediation is about helping people heal so that they don't remarry that same problem.
Right.
If you look at the big picture of it, the biggest of big pictures,
Mm-hmm.
what we're talking about is what it does, how it ignites the contracts. But its higher purpose is to clear the soul of the the trauma, the pains, the patterns, so that it can start anew, so it doesn't remarry. It doesn't marry the same problems. It doesn't marry the same pattern.
Right.
It doesn't need the same set of circumstances, just with a different face.
And so I am completely aligned with all of, and I feel very connected to that is exactly what solace is and what it can do. And so when I'm sharing this, right, because I'm redoing my website, I'm redoing all my social media platforms so I can get this message out. Does the soul of Solace Divorce Mediation want me to share this information? Because that is what it is. And obviously the concern is by sharing that information, and I know I don't want to ask too many questions, but do you know what I'm getting at? Like the heart of the question is, does the soul of this business want me to explain what it does in these terms that some people are going to be off? They're going to think it's woo-woo, right? In the words that we use. Is that what Solace wants me to do, is to share that this is what Solace does and share this messaging with the world?
How you can do that is that not everyone, it doesn't have to be woo-woo, Jen. That's where that's one of the areas you're missing. Okay. It can be very, it's for example, and this is me, this isn't the records, but when I coach, I'm still Linda Berger, Akashic Records certified teacher and consultant. But I'm also this business coach. So it's part of who I am.
Right.
So you can't really separate it, but I can talk very just business that has nothing to do with the soul or the spirituality. It's what's coming through me as my bigger purpose.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Ask the question again so that we make sure that we have it.
So does the soul of Solace Divorce Mediation want me to use this language, that we're helping people to heal, so, we can clear the soul of the trauma, and that's the soul language, and really getting into that? Is that what Solace Divorce Mediation wants? Is that the way that it wants me to present this to the world?
It wants you to present it in both ways.
Okay.
Now, if you feel more comfortable with just presenting it in very legal-ish terms, okay, then what you are doing is you are asking the soul to give you the words that people need, that are going to be listening or going to be reading. So if you happen to be writing a particular blog, you ask the soul of the business, all right, I'm going to write this blog. Who is this blog for, and what's the language I need? Okay. And intuitively, even without being able to open the records, intuitively, you will know what the words are, and you will be able to trust that it's the right ones. Okay. And you can explain that in your recordings about, sometimes this may seem woo-woo, but the healing process goes between our spiritual self and our mind and our ego, and it's just all part of who we are. Right. And Solace is not meant to be all about this woo-woo talk. It's about, that's just part of it. It's just part of the path.
Right. Okay.
But people that are not interested in any type of healing or on their journey will not be attracted to the business.
Right.
Okay. Right. Because it has, whoever comes here wants a healing in some way. And you're not doing the healing. They're doing the healing by going through the process. Right. Okay. And you have to be really clear about that, because you're not a therapist and you're not a psychologist. You're not healing them.
Mm-hmm.
The process of going through a healthy way of divorcing is healing them.
Right.
Okay. And that comes back to where you had your expectations, where they wanted you to kind of lighten up on that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because that's you forcing that you need to be healing from this. Well, no, they don't have to be healing from this.
Right.
Not
it's
according.
their choice.
Yes. See, in reality, most people don't really understand this. When the soul is working and the soul is healing, we aren't really even aware of it. It's working on such a subtle level, soul to soul, heart to heart, that we might become aware of it if we start to feel that expansion in our chest, then we become aware of it. But consciously, you're not aware of it, that you're doing soul work. It's just not, it's not possible.
Okay.
Because our ego would grab it. And there's nothing wrong with the ego. The ego is a great friend of the soul. It just needs to know its place.
Right. And what about something I've always struggled with is the fee structure. So is there anything that the soul of this business is trying to tell me with regards to how to set up the fees? How can I do this so it can capture all of these souls that want to be a part of this in a way that's fair and equitable? And
okay, you're now putting the cart before the horse.
Okay.
You're putting yourself and your money issues, if you have any left, in front of your business. Okay. You just put you and your struggles or any triggers that you have with money in front of your business's needs. Okay. So what you do is you go back to your business and you say, what are the fees I should be charging?
Okay.
And if you don't hear anything, then write down numbers.
Okay.
And you will hear intuitively, yes, no. If you start to feel a tightness in your stomach, then it's your stuff.
Okay.
So let's just say, I'm just going to throw out a number. Let's just say your fees are $5,000 right now, and you really need them to be $10,000. Okay. And you know that other people charge that amount of money, if not more.
Right.
So you write down, 10,000, and you get this knot in your stomach. That knot is about your limitations of how much money you feel you are valued. It's not the business, it's Jen.
Okay.
Okay. So what I tell in my coaching business, and I think I've even told you a couple of years ago, is what you want to do is you want to push yourself to the numbers that make you feel uncomfortable, but not like your business is saying, no, don't go that way. Don't go that way. You want to intuitively kind of work with that because you want to overcome your own money blocks and triggers. One of the main reasons why so many business owners are in business is to de-trigger so many of their triggers. And a lot of small business owners, especially women, are overcoming money and overcoming value and overcoming boundaries. So these are the three things that they mainly hit they come up against a lot of in their business. So it isn't uncommon for someone to ask, what should my fees be? I struggle with this. You don't hear a man typically saying that because they just put the numbers out and expect it.
Right. It's a whole different.
Yes. So
mindset.
One of the things you can do, and this is what I suggest in my business coaching, is that you determine your prices and you put it in writing. And when you sit down to talk about what the process is and how much it costs, you put that number in front of the people and you don't say anything. You let them do their processing.
Okay.
Because otherwise what happens is you start limiting your business because of your own money triggers, that when you start to say something, now you're going to trigger their money issues.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
client, the potential client's money issues. Does that make sense?
Right.
Do you need me to say it in a different way?
No, that completely
Absolutely.
makes sense. Yes,
Okay, so
absolutely
explain
makes
that
sense.
back to me.
So when I was inquiring about the fees, I need to kind of take my own time of going through the fees that I currently have and just sit with them to make sure that they are not me limiting myself by saying this is what I think I should charge, but really embracing that this is what I should be charging for the services that are being offered. And when I'm meeting with the clients, like at a consult or, future, instead of what I do now, which is, oh, my admin will send it to you and we can talk about it then, just putting it in front of them and saying, this is the fee, this is what it is, this is what it covers, and then leaving it up to them to make their own decision of what they feel and think about all of that. Yeah, I love that.
Right, exactly.
Because again, it isn't my journey, it's their journey.
And a lot of times,
so
well, it's both. You're growing because you said, hey, okay, I'm going to take this business and I'm going to help it flourish.
Mm-hmm.
Your business will flourish as much as you're willing to push through your own stuff. Okay. If your business is limited,
and that was one
it's
of
because you're not pushing through your own stuff. Oh, wait,
right.
You just bleeped out. What did you say,
And that
Jen?
was one of, oh, sorry. Let me see if I can get to another. I'm
here. Maybe this will be better. Okay. So what was that question, Jen?
So a final question that I had is, what am I supposed to be learning from this business? Like, what is Solace Divorce Mediation teaching me as being the human vessel that's kind of sharing it?
It's a, I love this question. They're laughing. They're saying, oh, she knows this and she's asking this question. That's what I love about the Akashic Masters and the beings of light, because they really have a great sense of humor, and they're like, there she goes again. But the biggest thing is that owning a business is like an accelerant when you put it on a fire. You throw a match and it might burn out. But with the Akashic records and owning a business, well, just in general, owning a business, now you've got another soul that you're trying to fulfill its purpose. So it's like taking the accelerant and pouring it on so the flames go, and you start to, all of a sudden you're being hit with all these potentialities for growth. I got to get over my money stuff. I got to get over my time management. I have to get over my boundaries. I have to start planning. I have to start strategically activating my plan. I need someone to help. And so that's what the business does for the business owners. So there's always anything in the spiritual realm is very reciprocating. So it does for you, you do for it. So it's my infinity sign that I always talk about, how, it kind of comes when you have to go do work and you go back business, and you see, it's just an infinity sign. That's why I love that sign, because it really works with what you learn, and as you learn and you grow and you re-up those triggers, and that creativeness is unlocked for you go into this entering the business. So, Jen, is that hearing?
I can, but it's kind of muffled, but I can hear what you're saying.
Okay, so we've come to the end of our a client